So on YouTube, I've seen these Plants vs Zombies challenges where people try and beat Plants vs Zombies 1 or 2, or a specific part of Plants vs Zombies 1 or 2, whilst only using 1, 2 or 3 plants. And I thought, hey, I want to do that, so yeah, let's do this. The first few levels I had 3 plants or less, so yeah, not much to talk about here. By level 1-4 I had the walnut, but of course for this challenge, didn't use it. Level 1-5 was walnut bowling, where you get given 2 seed slots anyways, so yeah. I mean, it fits well with the challenge, completed it. And the rest of the day levels were pretty much the same, where I used sunflower, pea shooter and cherry bomb. Yeah. However, on level 1-9 I used repeater and potato mine as well as sunflower, so it's a nice change I guess. Not much else though. For some of these conveyor belt levels, pretty much what I did was I basically, chose 3 plants, and whatever plants I wasn't using, I placed them down and quickly removed them as quick as I could, where I basically wouldn't be using them in the level, so yeah, that's pretty much what I did for most of these conveyor belt levels, just to give you an explanation, just so you understand. The night levels were a lot easier, now the fact that I had the puff shroom, yeah, because, he was free, 0 sun. So yeah, the rest of the night levels was either sunflower or sun shroom, puff shroom or fume shroom, and pretty much anything else. Yeah. The Whack a Zombie minigame only lets you have 3 plants, so yeah, it fits the challenge, so yeah, not much else to say. And as you can probably guess, the rest of the night levels pretty much were, yeah, the same. Not much else to say. Yeah, either using sun producers, puff shrooms, or literally anything else, but only 3 plants. That's kind of, what the challenge is supposed to be, which, yeah, I followed the rules of the challenge, so yeah. 2-10 pretty much followed the, same rules as I did for 1-10, where basically any plants I wasn't using, I basically placed down and removed them, because, I wasn't supposed to use them. And now we're at the pool stages where, there's now 6 lanes, and, we have to use lily pads. However, even with that, yeah, this was still very, very easy. And yeah, I'm not taking the piss, honestly. Yeah, this was very, very easy. Literally every level aside from the 3-5 minigame where I used pea shooters, lily pads and cherry bombs to beat the level. Pretty much all of these, levels I pretty much use, sunflower, lily pad and repeater. That is basically it. And yeah, the conveyor belt level of the pool, levels was pretty much the same as the first 2. And this is where, things start to take a turn with the fog levels. Same as pool, but it's at night and of course, there's fog, yeah, no shit. But, some levels became a bit difficult for me. 4-3 was, taking me a few attempts. However, in the end, I eventually managed to complete it, yeah. 4-4 I definitely had a better time with though. Yeah, not much else to say. Barsbreaker only had 4 plants, and the only plant I didn't use at the 4 was snow pea, so yeah, used 3 plants, so yeah, was able to easily pass this as well, because yeah. The next few levels of fog, went pretty smoothly. Yeah, until I got to 4-9. This level took me a lot of attempts, even more than 4-3, and this was at a point where, I just felt like, giving up and, not really doing this challenge anymore, or just, trying to skip this. And at this point I was stressing out so much that my smartwatch actually said my stress level was up to 96. Like, Jesus Christ, that was high. So I asked one of my friends on Discord, what the fuck should I do? And he says that, I should keep trying since I'm nearly finished. So that's what I did. After a few more attempts, I finally managed to complete this bastard of a fuck level. 4-10 was a little bit hard. I went through, many combos of, the 3 different plants I should use. But, after a few attempts I managed to complete it, so yeah, wasn't that bad. So now we're on the roof levels where, it's back down to 5 lanes and, we don't need to use lily pads, however we need to use flower pots, so yeah. It's got to be a bit of a pain in the ass. Though that seemed to have not been the case because, like with day, night, pool and bit of fog, most of the roof levels were pretty easy. The cabbage pulse kind of carried me, yeah. Even ladder zombies can be countered with the cabbage pulse. Yeah. For the 5-5 conveyor belt level, I used all the plants they gave me except for the pumpkin, so it was down to 3, And yeah, one of the ones which I did use was the cherry bomb, and yeah, I also had the chomper as an insta-kill, so yeah, it was pretty easy. And yeah, the rest of the roof levels, the cabbage pulse kind of just carried me. Yeah, even the Gargantuas in level 5-8 and 5-9, you know, they weren't much of a challenge since I also had Squash and or Melon Pulp. For the Dr. Zomboss fight, I did this thing where, you know, the zombies would basically, you know, get run over by the roof cleaners, and Zomboss would basically only be putting zombies in the middle, so all focus was on the middle. And yeah, you know, for the most part it worked out pretty well. This fight was very, very long though. Though at one point I was surprised when he placed a newspaper zombie on a different lane than the middle one. But yeah, I successfully managed to complete this challenge, and yeah, it is possible to beat Plants vs Zombies whilst only using 3 seed slots. Yeah.